And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Box 3 today. Welcome, first of all, to the new chatters, to our regular chatters. But we got two first-timers in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. We are here today not for a race, but we're here for the preseason show for season 4. We had a huge turnout for this season. A lot of people qualifying. We've got 4 classes now. No more rookie class. That's gone away, but we still have 4 classes of drivers, 2 races coming every week starting next Sunday. And we're going to get into each and every bit of it. We're going to talk about season 4. We're going to talk about some other races too. So keep that in mind. It's not just about season 4 today, but we're going to save that for the end. Now, when you're going to do a preseason show like this, nobody wants to sit here and watch my idiot head talk at them for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. I'm hoping we're going to be here about an hour to go through all this. But point being is, if you're going to do that, if you're going to do a show like this, again, you don't just do. Nobody wants to watch me. So what I'm going to be doing is bringing in a few of our favorite gentlemen from the league. They're going to join me today to go through everything. We're going to talk about the tracks. We're going to talk about the drivers. We're going to talk about where everybody qualified. And at the end of it, we're going to talk about a bigger race than just season 4. So joining me today, in no particular order, we got Mr. James Nugget Vicing down there in the bottom right-hand corner. We've got Alex there on the bottom left, and Anderson up in the top right corner. Welcome in, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me today. Are we ready, guys? Are we going to talk season 4 today? Absolutely. I love it. I think this is fantastic. As I just get some things set here, we're going to get going. So are you guys, let's just start here first before we bring anything up, go into the details. Are you guys ready for season 4 yourselves? First of all, which of you are driving in season 4? All of you? Okay, perfect. So are you guys ready for it? Because we know what the first track is, right? So have you been preparing already or no? Anderson, has he actually improved? Hold on a second, guys. Something stupid happened. Just give me a second. Oh, they can't hear you because I'm an idiot. So no audio from the guests because I'm a jackass.
We've been talking the whole time.
I know. That's my fault. I'm a ding dong. When you have to unmute things and mute things and go back and forth, sometimes you forget. So let's start over. You guys are all racing this season. We decided that James has made improvements working with Anderson. So we're going to see where he's classed when we talk about qualification here in just a little bit. Alex, I know you and my experience racing with you is in iRacing. I don't race ACC with the league. So you've raced on ACC with the league before, right? Or no?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Last season.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. So you're coming back for season 4. So everybody here, or all of you anyway, will be racing. Of course, it's everybody's going to be able to watch the races covered here on the channel by myself. So I'm hoping we really get in depth on these tracks today, talk a little bit about each one as we go into exactly what's going on with season 4. I believe it's a total of 7 weeks that we're going into for this season. Starting with, as we jump over, let's take a look real quick at the track list for season 4. We'll start right at the top. COTA. Now, as we were getting ready for this, I was reading in the Discord. A lot of people griping about COTA. Is there a specific reason why?
Track limits.
To that. Well, yeah, track limits.
Track limits.
Track limits.
Also,
okay.
It's a new track as far as the updates go. It's also a very technical track. The S section is somewhere in between experiencing the hell of what people call Suzuka and Silverstone mixed. So that's not appealing, but I feel like once people find the groove for it, it'll be a loved track. I feel like it's just because it's so new and so unknown as far as how it goes in the mechanics of ACC, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle maybe for some people, including myself. So
okay, very good.
I think there's a lot of great overtaking opportunities at COTA. I mean, you have a lot of like heavy braking zones, and while the S's are the bane of my existence, I always get off tracks around the second apex. I think it'll provide some like really good racing.
Entirely agreed. Alex took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm good at that.
Excellent. So yeah, Coda being one of the new, obviously people know from the new America's DLC. So we're going to start the season off right, go right to one of those. We have had a few special events. We had one at Watkins. I'm pretty sure we did one at Coda previously. Yeah, we did. I can't remember which race, but we did one. But going back then into some older tracks, and I say older meaning, you know, they've been in the sim for quite a while. Race 2 at Zolder. What do you guys think on Zolder? Where do we see problems or concerns with this? This is a track most people know at this point, right? Pretty well. They know where their passing zones are. They know where to find them. So unless they're new to the game, it should be relatively not, I don't want to say easy, but we should see fewer incidents maybe, right?
Yeah, not to discredit the opening race at Coda, but I think Zolder is going to be the featured starting race of the season, not only because we did a qualifying run there, but also it's a track we've done since season 1 in Mass. So I feel people are going to be really used to it. It's going to be some good racing.
Absolutely, absolutely. You just you have to be careful that you don't get airborne through the chicanes. That's always
important. Yes.
Yeah, that's always a sketchy moment. Definitely a few brown notes sometimes, especially when you're fighting for position. But I'm really looking forward to Zolder. It's a fun track to race.
Now, personally, just from my experience, I always found it narrower, and I know it's not super narrow. It's not an Alton Park, right? But I always felt like that track was narrower than some of the others that we drive on. Does that play into that at all? Is it actually narrow, or is that just my own imagination, I guess is what I'm asking?
I think it depends on the sector of the track. Like Sector 1 has a lot of wide open, like the T1, T2 section is a lot wider than the back straight we're going into the chicane. That feels a little tighter. It might not be, but it feels tighter to me, especially when you try to go side by side, someone trying to dive down the inside. It makes, especially for the mid-engine cars like my McLaren, doesn't really take those curbs too well, so it's going to be a terrible time. But that's just my experience with Zolder. The McLaren just does not take it too well, but I try to make the best of it.
I think it's less about the track being narrow and more about you being able to perform clean overtakes. There's not a lot of opportunities for good overtaking spots where you both keep the speed out of the corner.
Gotcha. Okay. Now the next race 3, which will be on September 25th, Watkins Glen. Now, were any of you, and you have to apologize, I have to apologize for my memory, were any of you at the Watkins Glen 3-hour race that we did?
I did it solo.
Okay. Anybody else? No?
I was not.
So again, we saw during that race, a driver had a problem on the uphill coming out of T2, right? Heading up in the hill where it gets narrower between the walls before it opens back up. Got spun. That driver did his job. He sat on the brake and stayed still. And the problem became that nobody paid attention coming up the hill to the yellow flag. And we had like a 14 or 15 car pileup. Again, reading in the Discord, people are concerned with this again. And it sounded like the way they were talking about it, these were people that were not there for the 3-hour. Do you see that being a problem at Watkins again? Are we going to see that? I hate to see that because it was so brutal.
Yeah, it's not good. However, I mean, that's kind of the driver's responsibility. And to use a classic Box3 saying, it seems kind of like a skill issue. Like if you're not paying if you're not paying attention to the track ahead of you, then what are you doing? You know, like that's the entire race.
Nope, I'm with you 100%.
And all these cars have displays where you'll have it'll tell you yellow flag in the next sector or double yellows, and I mean it's your job as a driver to be paying attention to those indicators, to be aware of what to expect coming out, especially because through the S's at Watkins it can be kind of blind there, and if you're not paying attention, you come up with someone who's parked in the track, like that one's on you.
Yeah, 100%. And that to me, that's what it was when we watched back at that race, right? It wasn't, again, the driver that had the incident. There was a small incident there, whatever, whoever's fault that was, he did his job. He sat still. He was waiting to allow other drivers to clear and not become a hazard himself. But unfortunately, just because of where he landed, he became a hazard. But nobody slowed down coming up that hill. We watched him just pile into it one after another. So hopefully we don't see something like that again. It'd be great if we could just hold off and everybody slow down. But again, Watkins Glen, one of those new tracks, one of the America's DLC tracks. So hopefully people take some time and get a little experience there before week 3 kicks off. Moving on, round 4, Silverstone, another one that I heard a lot of complaining about this week due to qualifying, and I don't know why. I've never had a serious problem with Silverstone myself. Not one of my favorites, only because I like tracks personally with elevation changes, right? Spa, Bathurst, Brands Hatch, places like that. But Silverstone, I heard a lot of griping about this week. What is the problem with Silverstone?
Well, to reiterate what was said earlier, I think it's a skill issue. Um,
Oh no.
I
Here it
I
goes.
love Silverstone. I adore this track. I always have a blast racing around it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I understand where people are coming from. I just recently got faster at Silverstone thanks to the help of Anderson, the legend. Thank you, appreciate it. But it seems to be a problem more of like it's a really long track. Even the aliens are doing what 56s, 57s, right? So it's a
Yep.
long track to do laps with. And I don't think the issues with it being during the season. I think was setting 3 consistent fast laps for the qualifying, being a 2-minute track. That's a 6-minute stint you have to drive perfectly for a good time. I think that's what people were more upset about. I still don't like Silverstone, even though I've gotten a couple seconds faster out of the lap, but it's one of those tracks that's kind of in the gray area for people. Either you like it or you don't.
Well, NS Racing in the chat says Silverstone is a great track. Pink Pig disagrees, said no one ever. So I can understand where you're coming from, though, because I've had problems with qualifying things like where you got to run perfectly clean as fast as possible 3 times in a row. During the course of a race, you make a track cut. You don't necessarily get a penalty of any kind, but when that qualifying hits, you've got to hit all 3 in a row. They can't be spread out across a qualifying session, and it probably does make it a little trickier, right? So I can understand that. All right, race 5, October 9th, carrying us into fall. Misano, again, one of the older tracks, much like Silverstone, and we talked about Zolder before. Anybody looking forward to Misano? Personally, I like Misano. I think it's a fun track.
I enjoy it.
It's like a mid-tier track for me. I much prefer the Silverstone option. I guess that's just my McLaren bias, since it's a high downforce track compared to Misano. But it does have a lot of fun technical parts, especially towards the back end of Sector 2 into Sector 3. It's kind of a McLaren dream there. But other than that, it's got a lot of tight, especially at the mid part of Sector 1 where you have that tight sort of hairpin. There's a lot of fun overtaking that could be done there. So I think it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, for me, the back straight into that very fast right-hander, and then needing the second fast right-hander, and then needing to get your speed back down to swing full right, to slow way down, but not hitting those brakes until the right time, because if you're still turning, you're going to send yourself off into the gravel, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
A lot of fun there.
As a Mercedes driver, I feel that very hard.
Well, the Audi does it too. Don't worry. I can guarantee you that. All right. Race 6, Snetterton, October 23rd. This is a track I admit I have almost zero experience with, I think. I don't like the British tracks for the most part, other than Brands.
I don't think I've ever raced on Snetterton.
I have to admit my experience is pretty non-existent.
Very good. So this is going to be a great one for people, huh?
Box3 chat. Anyone like Snetterton? No, of course not.
I've done a couple laps.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really driven there.
In iRacing, I've driven it a couple times, and I can tell you from my experience there and in ACC, I'm not a fan of the track. It's not high up on my list at all. So it'll be an interesting race for sure, because it feels really narrow. I don't know. To me, it doesn't flow together very well. So it'll be fun, but I'm not going to do very good.
So now, remind me, Alex, because you said you've turned a few laps on it in ACC. Is this like Olton, where it's wicked bumpy too? You and I talked a little bit about that earlier today with the difference in sims, but like, is this one of those tracks that's wickedly bumpy? I
mean, it has its moments. I wouldn't say it's like overly bumpy. For instance, when you're coming out of on ACC and Silverstone, when you're coming out of Maggots and Beckett's, it feels like you're just literally having the ever living crap shaken out of you because of those bumps going onto that straight. Snetterton, it has a couple moments, but overall not too bad. So it's a bad track in my eyes.
It's another one of those tracks that has no elevation change, so it just feels kind of flat and boring.
Not
Very
be too
much
harsh
so.
on it though, because a lot of people do like Snettertons to bring in the chat. So it seems like this might be a practice maybe we need to fix our issues on and get better at. Because it seems like a
Sounds
lot of
about
people
right.
actually do like it.
Yeah, the people in the chat are just
Yeah.
like, yeah, they seem okay with Snetterton. So I think we got a good mix here so far. And we're going to end the season October 30th going into Halloween at Suzuka. I can tell you, not one of my favorite tracks, even with the elevation changes. I hate this track. The S's drive me up the wall. I can never seem to find my flow through the entirety of Sector 1 because of the S's. Other parts of the track for me are okay. I do well, but those S's up front really start my laps off rough because, again, I don't think I've ever been able to find my flow at Suzuka.
I like Suzuka. It's one of my favorite tracks in the world. Actually, I'm not any good at it. I suck at Suzuka, but I love the track. So I'm really excited for it. And as the local Honda driver and all the other Japanese car drivers, if you're in chat or here, we got to prepare for this. It's gonna be a great race. Make sure you win at your home country. You know what I mean?
It is. It's a fun race to watch. Don't misunderstand there. I do like watching Suzuka. 100% a lot of fun. So of all the tracks we've talked about, guys, if we go back through these and look at them, are there any that you feel are, so Alex, I'll start with you. What's your favorite track? Which one are you most looking forward to for this season?
I'm gonna have to go with Watkins Glen.
Okay.
I love Watkins. It's always a blast to race. I was so happy whenever it was part of the American DLC pack. So I'm super stoked for Watkins. It's one of my favorite tracks ever, and so I can't wait to bring up the rear at it.
All right. And which one are you not looking forward to? Which is the one you're gonna? What week are you maybe gonna be sick or have something else going on?
I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, it's either Misano or Snetterton. I've never been quick at Misano. I'm not a fan of the track. At the same time, my distaste for Snetterton is very strong. So it's a tie there.
Gotcha. Okay. Anderson, how about yourself? First question is, which one are you most looking forward to?
I think I'm gonna go with. I know everyone's talking about my Silverstone bias, but I'm gonna go back and dip into my iRacing history here. My first track that I loved and raced all the time was Suzuka, so I'm gonna say that's my favorite. It's just that, like I said, it's a classic of mine. I'm looking forward to racing it again, even though I haven't done it in a little while. So it's a technical track with a lot of good overtaking spots, and I'm looking forward to that.
Season
Perfect.
finale as well.
And the finale, yeah, get him up there. And what about your least favorite? When are you taking a week off?
This one I'm definite on. It's a Snetterton. I just
Snetterton?
have no experience with it. It's going to be the track that's going to require the most effort out of me to figure it out and get the job done and try to do as best as I can.
Perfect. What about you, James? Where are we going, Nugget? What's your favorite?
Well, I was gonna go with Watkins or Suzuka, but because it was taken, I'll pick something else. I think my favorite track this season is gonna be Misano because it's halfway through the season. Either a lot of people either really fast in Misano or they don't know anything about the track. I think it's gonna be a real shakeup in the standings. It might be. I'm really looking forward to that race.
All right. Which one are you skipping?
Which one am I skipping if I had to?
Well, I'm saying what's your least favorite? If you're gonna take a week off, you're like, oh, I'm definitely not racing at that track. Forget about it.
Least favorite probably Silverstone because I have skill issues.
Skill issues. All right. Well, at least you admit that. That's skill issues. So I got a question here for you guys because OG One Nut Wonder in the chat says, I'm new to the league and I have to learn all these tracks in a short amount of time pretty much. So let's address Mr. One Nut in the chat. And each of you take a turn. What would be your strategy for getting ready? I mean, are you just going to go week to week in practice, or what? Given that he's new to the league, he wants to get better at these tracks. What would be your suggestion for him?
Well, it depends if he's new to the game or new to the league. Because if he's new to the game and has some experience with the tracks, just not a lot of it, it's good to go on pubs. But if not, if you're learning the track, I feel like it's a mistake to go on to single player. A lot of people try to do and turn on Racing Line and try to use that because Box3 does not allow Racing Line on the servers. So if you're relying on that, by the time you get to the race, you're not going to have any braking points memorized. So I'd say go in hot lap mode, put it on a nice clear day, and see how late you can brake in each corner and see where you can improve at. That's the way I improve. It hasn't worked very much, obviously. I'm still a garbage driver, but that's what I usually do to improve at a track I'm not familiar with.
Okay, Anderson.
I'd follow that up after the hot lap mode. I think James started to talk about this. Was just hit public lobbies, even just to learn racecraft and how to go side by side through the various corners at these tracks. Because it's one thing to just do hot lap mode and single player where you get used to being on that one line, but then the second you're tested, things can happen. You may go off track. So just hit up a random public lobby or get a friend to race side by side with you and develop that racecraft, both offensive and defensive.
Gotcha. Alex, what about you?
I mean, that's all great for starting. I think because we will have practice servers for the races.
Mhm.
I think it's always a great idea to, hop in a voice chat in the Discord server. Usually when someone sees someone else just sitting in voice, they're gonna hop in, run the practice servers, talk with us. The more experienced guys will be more than happy to help you out, show you lines, run side by side with you, and just kind of utilize the wealth of knowledge that the community has as a whole. And hopefully you can walk away from that and be running towards the front.
Excellent. And to add to that, I would only add to really what Anderson said is you can go in hot lap all day. You're going to get faster. You might have fast lap times. However, if you don't know how to drive in traffic, if you don't know how to handle being off your line going into a certain corner, that's your racecraft is going to be bad on track because you're going to try and force your way onto your line versus allowing that other driver to have it, whether it's or he's not breaking the same point as you. If you're new to the game, go watch Aries Drive's video that is posted in the Getting Started with Box 3, and he will walk you through why you are not Senna and you should not send it. Calm down, Francis. It'll be okay. The other part of that is, again, what Anderson said, even offline, even in the single player mode, I found I got a lot better going into a single player race at that track and adjusting the AI to what they needed to be for me to be able to keep pace, not to race ahead and not to be left behind, but more to sit right in the middle of the pack and just drive in traffic. Just get used to driving in traffic. And that's going to help you just as much as being the fastest person on track. Because if you can be consistent, sitting where I do up here in judgment over all the drivers, I've seen more people place higher in a race because they were consistent rather than because they were fast, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we have the aliens out there that'll run super fast laps on every circuit. It doesn't matter where they go. They're going to be the fastest. They're going to pull ahead at the beginning of the race and it's over. But for mid-pack drivers, honestly, your best bet is to be as consistent as you absolutely can because that's what's going to place you higher than anyone else. Because if you don't run off track and the guy 2 seconds in front of you does, now all of a sudden you're up by 5 seconds. And now because of your consistency can hold that spot for the rest of the race, right? So that's just my thing. And
Absolutely.
yeah, as Otten said in the chat, the Coda practice server is already up and running for anyone that wants to start using it. It is all set and ready to go. So with that said, are you gentlemen ready to find out who is starting where when it comes to qualification and what class they're going to be in?
Oh yeah, this
wait.
determines everything.
Do you guys know what class you're in?
I do.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I'm thinking you could guess, but have you seen the actual list? I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
work with Huff. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Huff was being lazy, so I did most of the work.
Oh, you did
And he
most of
can't
the
chat
work.
'cause
Perfect.
he's muted, so he can't say anything.
All right, gotcha. So these guys have already seen it, but now we are going to walk through who is in what class. I've taken a look at this. We got some old school drivers, people who have been with Box for the first year, been here the whole time. We got some new blood coming in too. So this season's going to be fantastic. And again, 4 classes, and we have a lot of them. There's, I think, at least 20 drivers, if not more, in each class. I don't remember. We're going to take a look right now.
20 drivers per class.
20 per class. Perfect.
Yeah.
So let's get it going on. First 5 AM drivers: Lee Melvin, Chief Blaze, Michael Kazbuski. And guys, let me say this up front. I'm going to pronounce your names wrong. I apologize. It'll happen all season. So just give me a second. Zenith Ascendant and Bruce Hopkins. And I want to stop here for just 1 second because as an old dude, I got to go find this. But as an old dude,
You have your reading glasses?
I do. Kazbuski introduced himself. This gentleman is 56 years old. So I cannot wait to watch this legend on track because I have said for a long time we should have a gentleman's class for people like me. I don't know his speed. He's new to the league. We're going to see how he does this season in AM, but I think it's fantastic. We got that going on. This is awesome.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So
It's also important to mention here that these names are in no particular order in class. These are just, we just threw them in there with your time. So
these are they're not by time.
Lee
or
Melvin
anything like
is
that.
not necessarily faster than Chief Blaze
Gotcha.
or slower. It's just they're in random order.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you. Abdullah Saeed, Alex Martin, Michael Zwanenberg, Joseph Huerta, and Matthew Sharp are the next 5 drivers for our AM class this year, or this season, I should say. Tristan, I am not even going to try. Tom Grantham, Adam Willie, Kenny O'Connor, Michael Allenheim, and Karen Mavji? I hope I got that right. I can tell you Adam Willie also drives iRacing with us. We had a race with him on Saturday. Wicked nice guy. Can't wait to see him on track. Again, one of our new folks for ACC Racing just joined the league. Now we're moving on to a new class for this season, Pro-Am. Now, last season we had the rookies. Rookies were people that were new to the league, maybe didn't qualify, and we didn't know where to place them, right? We weren't sure where they went. Well, in order to race in Season 4, you had to run qualification. 3 laps at Silverstone and 3 laps at Zolder, correct? Was that the 2 tracks?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So you had to do that. If you didn't do it, you're not participating. You had a week to do so. So I'm sorry, you're out. But this year, this season, we now have a Pro-Am class. Now, Am and Pro-Am will run their race together, but will be scored differently, right? Just like Rookie and Am ran their race together last season. So let's get started with our Pro-Am drivers and who's going to be in that class. Gerald Butz, Simone Bardari, Terry Driscoll, Rogerio Santos, and Matt Comiskey starting in our Pro-Am class this season. Next up, Josh Butler, Rick Pixel, Maz F40 GT. That's a really weird last name, but I'm going to go with it. You're My Boy Blue is up there, and Seth Lemasters joining the Pro-Am class this season.
I'm looking forward to seeing Maz on track. I do believe he's in the Jag.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yes,
That'll be a
Maz is
first.
in the Jag.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited to see what he can do.
That's going to be curious then. Let's go. James Nugget Bicing now going to join the Pro-Am class this season. Look at him flexing down there for all the ladies that might be watching, which there are probably 0. This
There's
is
no
sim
women
racing.
in this
Let's
chat,
face
bro.
it.
What are you talking about? There's no women in here.
Josh Harrison, Robert Kinney, Bob Charlton, and Adrian Banach will be joining. 1 second. We're going to pause here real quick because we got a first-time chatter, Freet Mayo, in the chat. How does one get more info about races Box3 organizes? On other Discords, there are sections per type of event season. I don't see that on Box3. Hard to see what Box3 actually orders, how to sign up. You're going to want to make sure you have the PC ACC role on the server, okay? So make sure you have that, because if you don't have that, you won't see where the organization of things are. Now, first of all, understand, Season 4 has not been posted yet. That's going to be done tomorrow. It'll be opened up on SimGrid for everybody tomorrow. Huff and those guys are working together. They're going to drop everybody into their classes. You'll automatically be signed up, okay? But what you want to do is you want to make sure you have that PC ACC role, which you can get by going to the role selection channel at the top. Tick the button you need, all right? And that will help you take care of that, all right? And then you will see there's an announcements channel for each league. For iRacing, we have an announcement channel. For PC ACC, Xbox ACC, everything's pretty much split up that way, okay? So just to answer your question, that should make it as easy as possible to see all that stuff. And we will move on. Next up, Leon Huang, Thomas Miller, I know I'm saying that wrong, Miller, Terrell Seens-Taylor, Marcos Manolak is back, and Nick Brown round out our Pro-Am drivers for Season 4 of PC ACC. Silver class is up next. Let's go. Joshua Baker, Stephen Dunn, Niall Schlieder, Alejandro Aguilar, and Lee Diamond will be the starters here. Next up, we've got Jason Woolworth, NS Racing, Armand Petrovic, Rob Kisar, Delia Hazel, and Igor Kornikov. You guys are going to have to help me with names this season, I swear. We got so many names. I got decent last season, and then, I'm going to have to start dropping things into Google Translate and stuff, whatever
We
I got.
took over the world.
I know.
We did a pronunciation channel in the Discord.
We should do one. We should. You know what? TG's been great for that. TG has sent me things to, like, little audio clips of people's names being said. We could start a pronunciation channel. If it'll help me, I'll go in there and review stuff before a race. My goodness, let's go. Mike Jones, Mr. Kevin Huffman, Adam Thomas, Jan Barth, and Ridian Lloyd Davis is coming back for silver class in Season 4. Nikolai Tibuk, Louis Ricard, Robert Hepburn, Alexander Lang, and Zap Brannigan round out our silver class drivers this season. And moving on to pro now, get ready because Blaine Hall, Charlie Booth, Wes Hepburn, Garrett Kane, Brian Esports legend Canopin coming into pro. Justin Van Weiser, Wilson Fernandez, Tobias Gable, Anthony Anderson, Nate Lamlin, Sergey Zagorski.
There you go.
Seems like it. There you go. Way you go. Dimitri Athwal, Gasolina, Nathan Edwards, Jake Wells. We got Daniel Pickett, John Gray, Tom Foose, Remco Ottens, and Dave Alvarez Jr. rounding out our pro class this season. Now, I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna ask you guys a question. I'm gonna start off first. Let's start with each class, and we'll roll backwards through these. I gotta find the right slide, but we'll just jump back through. So in the pro class, who are you eyeballing this season? I go first. Tobias Gable.
As always, what do you call him? Well, I had a nickname for him when he spun me out at one track season 1. I forgot what his nickname was, but yeah, he's fast. I enjoy his company. He's a good driver.
But here's the thing with Tobias, what I would say about TG. TG is, again, he's not the fastest one out there. We all know Brian Canopin's very fast. Blaine Hall, very quick. TG is consistent. He comes every week and he drives very, very consistently. And that, I think, is his biggest strength that he's bringing into this pro class this season. That's just what I see. So, Alex, who do you think? Who are you looking at in pro?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I
and
mean,
before we go any further, let me say, as we go through each class, you're not allowed to pick yourself. So we'll just say that up front.
Okay.
Oh,
All
darn.
right. we got a while before we get to me. It's okay.
Yeah, you're good. But who are you looking
honestly,
at in pro?
Gasolina. I mean, I remember him on track last season, and guy was just on fire. I mean, absolutely on fire. I'm really interested in seeing what he can do when he's up with the pros there, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing him up towards the top of the standings there. So
Yep,
should be good racing.
Anderson, what about you?
All right, I got a bit of a wild card pick here because I got the inside scoop from the quali. Charlie Booth is an absolute madman in the McLaren. I think he is. He learned that car in like a week, and he was already faster than me.
Wow.
So I'm going to go with Charlie Booth as the wild card pro.
Excellent. And James, what do you think, Nugget?
I'm going with Daniel Pickett. He's always been fast, and he finally got bumped up to pro based on his times and consistency, and I'm really hoping to see him do well in that class.
You know, I like Pickett. I love watching Pickett run. Pickett finds himself in trouble a lot. And again, that's not me picking on him because I don't think a lot of times it's his fault. I really don't. I don't see him being as one of those drivers who's causing incidents on a regular basis, right? But just it seems like, I don't know if it's bad luck or what it is, that he just seems to get hung up by somebody every race that takes him out of contention. And I feel bad for him because when he's been left alone, you're right, he's been very quick.
Yep. As someone who is also on the receiving end of most incidents for no reason besides I'm bad and he have skill issues, the only time I've ever had a run-in with Pickett on track is back in season 1 when people got taken out by the same guy, me and him. So I think he does really well.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Moving on to silver. Now, again, there's a lot of new drivers here. But someone I like here, actually I have two of them, Stephen Dunn and Nikolai Tsiabuk are both drivers I think that they did very well in season 3. And I want to see some great things from him. Again, I look at the consistency, and Nikolai, we watched Nikolai start out in P15, maybe didn't really have a good qual session. And this cat ended up finishing in P6, P5 up in that area just because he remained so consistent, had good strategy for pits, things like that. So those are mine. But James, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Rob Kezar, another Porsche driver right now. I guess Pickett's in the M6 this year, I believe, or M4, I don't remember. But I'm going to go with Kezar. He's been really fast. He's always been really fast. He's been friendly, very helpful to the league, so I'd like to see him do well.
Excellent. Anderson, what do you think?
I'm going to go with another wild card here. I'm going to go with Alejandro Aguilar. He's been absolutely ripping it this qualify with the GTR of all cars. So I'm loving to see something new push the boundaries of what's near the top. So I got to give it to Hondro.
All right. Works. How about you there, Alex? What are you thinking?
Now, maybe I'm just a little biased, but I'm going to have to go with Petrovic, another AMG driver. I want to see him tearing it up, man. Tear it up.
Let's go. All right. Let's run back. Now, these are all in a certain order, and I'm not going to try and figure out where they are or bring them up into. So we're just going to scroll back through here till we get to the full.
Keep it going.
Yeah, we're one more. There we go. So Pro-Am class. Let's get into Pro-Ams. Gerald Butz, I think, did really well last season. Matt Comiskey's another one who pushes hard and I think could do very well, but this is such this one to me is a harder toss-up. It's harder to find someone that I really think. Now, I know, Maz is in the Jag. That just by itself makes me want to root for him, but I think I really want to go with Matt Comiskey this season. I watched his consistency get better throughout season 3, and that's kind of what makes me lean in that direction. What about you, Alex?
Again, like I said earlier, Maz in the Jag is just for the fact that you're on track with the Jag. Like let's go, dude. Like let's do it. Like that's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. That's that same thing when you mentioned that earlier that he's in that Jag. I'm like, huh. Oh, we'll be watching that, I guess, a little bit. How about you, Anderson? Where are you going in the Pro-Am class this season?
I believe we alluded to this at the beginning of the show. I really like James here. He's been putting in some work this quali. We're working on some driving habits, and he's been doing really well. He's progressing, and
I do have a mongoloid braking issue.
I hope to see continued success for James.
All right, that's awesome. No, nothing wrong with that. James, where are you going? If it's
This
of
is a
course
really
not
hard
yourself.
choice. No, of course not. This is a really hard choice though, because this is the split I've always been a part of. Whether it was named Am, Pro Am, Silver, whatever it was named in past seasons, these are the drivers I've always been a part of and racing with. So a lot of them had a lot of on-track battles with. I'm going to say 2 drivers actually because I can't decide. Nick Brown, he's a fellow iRacing driver like yourself, Molson. And for the first couple races, he'll be iffy, I think. But after that, he picks up speed like no tomorrow. He gets
Okay.
going fast. And
Gotcha.
my other one is Blue. He picked up that Bentley, and he is faster than me, and that's never been the case. So I'm a little frightened by that.
That's scary that we're going to see Blue at the front of the pack this season.
Yeah, it's a little frightening.
It's a little frightening, just a tad. All right, let's move over to Am class. Now, I want to sit here and say Alex, and the only reason I want to say Alex is not because he's here. I want to say Alex because I've raced at iRacing with him. Dude, you're pretty spry. Okay. And you seem to pick it up quickly because we've gone for, MX5s and then we're doing TCRs and it seems like, you seem to kind of come naturally, unlike someone like myself who struggles all the time. I mean, the TCRs, I can't keep the front end of that Audi going the right direction if to save my life. But you seem to do really well with it. So I don't know. A lot of new names here, which makes it very difficult to make a choice, right? We got Chief Blaze, we got Lee Melvin up there. I'd love to see Chief do great. Chief's been with the league since the beginning. He's one of our admins. If he's going to race this season, I would love to see him stick it through and get himself up near the top of the M class. And I know he can too. I've seen him drive long enough to know Chief Blaze put himself up there. So what about you, James?
I did see the times for all these drivers, and to be perfectly honest with you, I won't know. I helped out. I was working on it.
You're cheating.
And I had 2 things to do when I was surprised by when I was helping out with the thing, and it was number one of them was how close the AM classification really was to each other. I thought it was going to be spread out, new drivers, old drivers who just haven't put it in the practice, stuff like that. They were actually really close as far as times go with each other. So the name I think I remember is actually I think it's Kenny O'Connor. I think he had a pretty fast time and didn't put in that many laps.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. So I think he's going to be the M class to watch this year.
Perfect. All right. Anderson, what do you think?
I'm gonna go with one of our new guys. I've had the pleasure of getting to know him over the last couple of days, but Adam Willie. He's an iRacing guy, brand new to ACC, but he brings a lot of iRacing experience. He's been working really hard towards getting better. So I've watched this guy do quick laps, but I've also watched him struggle with consistency. So I think he's going to be a good person to watch out for, pushing towards the top by the end of the season.
All right. Excellent. Alex, how about yourself?
Well, I was actually going to go with the same guy, Adam. I met him running some open wheelers on iRacing, brought him in. Very happy to have him here. But since, I got my pick stolen,
Sorry.
as a backup, I don't know. I'd have to say I got to do it for my boy Blaze. I want to see him tear it up.
Yeah. I would love to see
Absolutely.
Blaze on track and tearing it up. I'll be honest. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie. I really would. I think it'd be fantastic.
Another thing too, as Reeves said in chat, I forgot about this. Joseph Huerta is carrying the flag of all the season 1 Box 3 drivers. He is driving the Lexus this season, so I'm really excited to see him on the same split as me.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, we didn't have time to put together what cars everyone's driving. I don't know. Alex, what are you running this season?
I'm an AMG.
Okay.
Yep,
Anderson?
McLaren.
McLaren. And where are you going again, Josh? Or James, sorry.
Honda.
You're sticking with the Honda?
Honda's all. Yeah.
Sticking with the Honda.
I was racing with the Honda before it got the buff. Now it feels like a totally different car. It doesn't want to kill you every corner.
Excellent. Well, there you go, folks. That is where everyone lands for season 4 classifications. Now, again, this will be dumped into SimGrid. It'll be open up tomorrow. All the drivers will be automatically listed. We'll have pro and am, everybody will be in there. Make sure you check the Discord. There'll be an announcement on that, and make sure you go and check SimGrid that you're in the proper placement, all those things. Also, a quick shout out to Armin's Petrovics. I talked to Huff a little bit before today's stream. Armin's helping out a ton with the spreadsheet these guys used to be able to do all this and pull all the times together from the qualification servers, get everything set up to be able to bring this together so quickly. So much appreciation to him. And again, we're a community. People come together, help each other out as much as we can. But with that, we have one more thing we want to talk. We're not done. We're kind of done with season 4. We're starting next Sunday. Get ready. You can come back here, watch all the races. You're going to be able to watch these 3 drive. You'll be able to get to watch my stupid face for the first 10 minutes before the race. Drive, yeah, James, you kind of drive. Yeah, okay. But we have one other thing that we wanted to talk about, and here is what is going on, and it's going to be just insane. We are going to Spa, gentlemen. We're going to Spa, and we're going for 24 hours. We are doing a virtual 24 hours of Spa. Now, I don't even know how much of this you guys know about, because you guys help manage the league, you help put things together, but I don't know how much you even know about. So let me run through this quick, and then I want to get your thoughts on it before we go back. So the 24 hours of Spa. Now, why are we calling it a virtual 24 hours of Spa? Well, live stewarding, full course yellows, safety cars, limited tire sets, and mandatory technical pit stops. Okay, so what does all that mean? So live stewarding, you guys, we've had live stewarding in the past. Somebody on your team turns in a report, the stewards go through it, penalties are applied in real time or as close to real time as possible, just like in real racing. Full course yellows. So part of what's going to happen here is all the drivers, while you'll be able to be in your own individual Discord channel with your teams, we're also going to use another service, which we need to test, Huff. We're going to use another service that at least one member of the team is going to have to be connected to or really the driver should be connected to as well, because full course yellows will be announced, meaning if there's an accident bad enough that everyone needs to slow down, you're going to have to drop to a certain speed. This has not been released yet, but we're going to talk about it. You got to drop down to 100 kilometers per hour and not go above it. Now, the easiest way for people to tell that is stewards are going to be looking at lap times during a full course yellow. Okay. And all the rules are going to be there about how we're redeployed, everything. There will also be a safety car for very bad accidents where it feels it's necessary. Again, all the rules will be listed on SimGrid, but I believe one of our admins is going to be driving a GT4 car. You'll line up, and that's what'll happen for a safety car. This is going to be so much fun. Again, 16 tire sets for the entire event. Okay. Across the course of 24 hours. So you're going to have to figure out what you got to do. And 2 mandatory brake changes during the course of this race. So guys, why do I bring this up is because the biggest reason I'm bringing this up is 1, to put it out there in front of y'all, and 2, because it's very important to us, myself, Huff, all the other guys that started Box 3. This is important because it's our 1-year anniversary. Basically, we started around October 15th. Now, this race isn't going to kick off until November 12th. There are reasons behind that. So we're about a month late, but it's okay. It's 1 year. We're close enough. And this is going to be a charity race, just like the first race at Box 3. We're going to be raising money for Extra Life again. And once we put this out, which will happen, I believe we want to get season 4 started. So season 4 starts next Sunday. The 24-hour registration and everything should open up the following, like Monday, Tuesday of the following week. So next Monday, Tuesday, 12th, 13th. Part of what we're going to be doing here is If you want to raise money for your local children's hospital through Extra Life, you sign up your team, you connect with the Box3 team for Extra Life, and again, all the details will be listed. And that way, your stream, we're going to have you fill out a form. Your stream, your team, your charity, everything gets promoted during the course. And yes, I will be covering this race for the full 24 hours, just like the last one. We only made 21,
Nice.
but, you know, whatever. It was long enough. Trust me, my body felt it the next day. Us 44-year-olds can't hang with that shit too easily. So that's what's coming up for the 24 hours of Spa. I cannot wait. Again, look for the announcement coming within about a week. We're going to Spa. It's going to be so much fun. I'm trying to make this an event, not just the race. So expect me to be reaching out to league members for interviews, for who knows, maybe we do party games, we do something weird, I don't know, but it's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be an absolute blast. You guys are gonna be able to get your teams together, start picking your teammates, and really put this together for charity and to raise money for Extra Life and children's hospitals across the United States and Canada. So I assume you all will be in. You're going to run the 24?
I'm running solo.
You are not.
You are a madman.
I am. As soon as I was let know that this was happening, I'm running it solo. I missed a season and a half because of schooling.
Oh my
I have some time to make
Lord.
up. 24 hours is a good amount of time to do.
Yeah, but trying to jam a whole season into one race, man. I mean, listen, hats off to you, buddy.
If I'm jamming a whole season into one race, it better be a good race.
Well, listen, hats off to you because, you know, we had a few solo runners during the last 24. They made it to the 21-hour mark when the server crashed. You know, hopefully we have no server crashes this time. We can get the whole 24 in. But the fact is, I know what that 24 hours feels like, my man. So good on you. Anderson, you running?
I got to work on finding out a team for it, or if I'm going to be doing some of the admin stuff behind the scenes. So we'll see. It all depends on how things play out logistically in the background. So
Gotcha.
we'll see.
All right, Alex, what about you? Come on now.
I'm up in the air on it. I'm up in the air.
Up in the air.
I mean, I actually did the Spa 24 in iRacing a while back, which was a blast. Man, those are rough. I don't know how this guy's gonna do this solo. That's absolutely insane to me.
Yeah.
There's no way I could do
stupidity.
that. Yeah, okay, yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But
smart enough to know better, old enough not to care.
Exactly. I'll also likely be doing a lot of the live stewarding though. So
gotcha.
I probably opt for more behind the scenes stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, I would love to drive the safety car. That'd be really cool.
That would be a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I have to admit.
Well, that was part of it too, was that, like, you know, talking to Huff and a couple of the other guys was like, you know, Adam, you should drive the safety car. You're there the whole 24 hours anyway. I'm like, yeah, but I can't go from spectator mode to drive mode without like completely quitting out of the game. So that's just not, I would love to do it, but it's not going to work. Plus, I don't know about
the PC.
Yeah, and I don't know about sitting in the rig for the entire 24 hours either. Unlike James, who apparently is going to make it, but we'll see. Tell you what, man,
we'll see.
If you go the whole 24 hours, I will no longer call you Nugget.
That's my nickname. What, you gonna torture me for going 24 hours? That's my whole shit.
I thought you didn't want the nickname Nuggets. I was gonna alleviate that from you. All right, well, then we'll find something else. Right?
Yeah, fine.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. This is awesome. We should do this more often. In all honesty, I would love to. Honestly, I would love to do something like this weekly, where we talk about the race after each seasonal race, maybe on a Wednesday, Thursday evening, something like that. I don't know if we can swing that together. I think this is fantastic. Don't forget, guys, to everybody watching, thank you all so much for being here, first of all, and coming in to see this. I know you were all you were all kind of champing at the bit because you wanted to get in and know what was going on with everything. So there you have it. That's season 4, launching out here starting next Sunday. The practice server is open. And yep, Ottens is going to remind me because I'm a bit of a dork. I got to jump over. They won't be able to hear anybody else here for a minute. Ottens can let you know in the chat, but Beer Cup coming back. I know the guys had a lot of fun with that. to Beer Cups tomorrow. There you go. Beer Cup starts tomorrow. So make
I'll be
sure you get
there.
over to James is going to be there if you want to know someone who's internet famous and has his own nickname. Make sure you get over there and race Beer Cup. I know. Listen, I've never participated. This is the late night league. This is the guys that stay up late, and I'm an old man. I go to bed about 9:30. This kicks off around 9 o'clock, or I'm sorry, 10 o'clock on Tuesdays. They have a lot of fun. It's casual racing, nothing serious. It's not seasonal racing. There's no classes. Everybody just throws down and has a great time. So everybody should jump in on that and have a good time with the rest of the drivers. For myself, for Anderson, for James, for Alex, again, thank you to you three so much. It's always hard putting something like this together. People have family time, everything else. I do want to thank the three of you. And I can't wait to see all three on track in season 4 and at the 24-hour race. Alex. You guys have anything?
No pressure.
You guys have anything before we close this out? For the people listening at home?
Try not to crash. That's how you win races.
There you go. Consistency, right? That's how you win.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Does not always equal car, guys.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to finally get this out, though. We've been sitting on, especially the 24, for a while. So
I
glad
know.
to finally release it and get everyone acclimated to what's going to be happening.
Yep. No,
I'm
I
excited.
cannot. I can't wait for the 24. And Alex, even if you're not driving, that's okay, man. Maybe you join me in the booth a little bit and we hang out and talk a little bit. But I'm
I'd love
juiced.
to.
I'm juiced because it's for charity, and we did this last year, and I think it's just going to become an annual thing that we need to run a 24 and do it 100% for charity and just throw down and let's go and bang it out. So again, thank you to you three gentlemen. Thank you to everybody for watching today. We'll be back on next Sunday, September 11th, for the first race of season 4 at COTA. So be sure you jump back here for that. And everybody have yourselves a great week. Happy Labor Day to those in the U.S. and maybe wherever else it exists. And if not, again, guys, have a great week. We'll be back real soon.